I'm meteorologist John Dawson. This is the Fox 26 YouTube Tropical Update, and I am so glad that you found us here on YouTube because today is going to be a particularly good update to discuss. There's some things to talk about, and I'm glad you found us. You're just in time. This is very fresh information from the National Hurricane Center that we're going to be talking about here on this Sunday afternoon. So if you didn't see exactly where you were clicking, this is Sunday, the 30th of October in the afternoon with some latest information from the National Hurricane Center. So quick review on what we've been watching. There's been a disturbance near Bermuda, and the latest from the Hurricane Center on that particular disturbance is not so worried about it anymore. They went ahead and lowered those chances to a near zero is what they're calling it. And what we've been watching is down in the Caribbean, and this is a system of disturbance, a broad area of low pressure, if you want to call it that Invest 95L is what they've labeled it. Earlier in the afternoon on Sunday, they gave that a 90% chance of developing in the next 48 hours into a tropical cyclone. And if you'll get a little bit of a closer look here, you could see that things are continuing to be really not very well organized, but it is very much expected to become a tropical cyclone, but not yet. So this is the ever so famous Potential Tropical Cyclone 15 is where we are on the numbers. All right, so Potential Tropical Cyclone 15 is on the board. It probably is going to become a named storm on Monday afternoon, but this is one of those scenarios where the Hurricane Center has to kind of follow a rule book. And the rule book is they can't make one of these cones unless they have a tropical cyclone or the newly created potential tropical cyclone. So that's why they're able to go ahead and create those forecast cones and all the other packages and information that they can distribute once they have a tropical cyclone. They're able to do that with the potential tropical cyclone. And again, this is 15. So 15. Currently, 40-mile-an-hour winds moving to the west-northwest at around 10 miles an hour. And we'll continue to watch this developing over the next 24 hours, expected to become more organized and officially a tropical cyclone with max winds at 45 miles an hour. And then when we get down into Wednesday, we could be looking at a hurricane as it approaches Central America, Belize, as well as Guatemala. That part of Central America is definitely going to be something to be concerned with. And we're again going to keep that full cone open. Portions of Mexico as well are going to be impacted by this, the southern portions. And also, kind of moving close enough here to Jamaica that some impacts could be felt because this cone doesn't represent, a reminder, hopefully we know this already, this cone doesn't represent an impact cone. So just because Jamaica's not in that cone, it doesn't mean it's not going to have impacts from it. It just means that that center of potential tropical cyclone 15 will most likely stay within this shaded area, this yellow area, and the center of it would not roll over Jamaica, but it could definitely bring impacts to it. So that's primarily, I think, why they've been able to justify the release here of the potential tropical cyclone terminology, because sort of the general guidelines that the Hurricane Center uses is that it really needs something to pose a threat within 48 hours. So I think that's probably what they're doing, is looking at some land like Jamaica or like other portions of Central America that could be impacted by it. Not necessarily a landfall, but it could threaten it with impacts. Strong winds, lots of rain, storm surge, all those threats that a tropical cyclone can bring. That's again what we see when we see this terminology of a potential tropical cyclone. It's not quite meeting all of the characteristics for that definition of a cyclone. So it's not a depression, it's not a tropical storm, not a hurricane, but it has the potential to be impacting like a tropical storm. Those conditions could be happening. So really, again, as I mentioned earlier, allows the National Hurricane Center to kind of push out all of that information. So what are we going to call this thing? Well, I don't think it's going to become a tropical depression. I think it's going to kind of skip over and become a tropical storm. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll let the Hurricane Center, of course, make the official call, and it's really not all that important. I do think it will eventually get a name, and that name is going to be Lisa. So potential tropical cyclone 15 could become tropical depression 15, or just jump right to tropical storm status, and at that point it would be called Lisa. So that's what you're listening for as we're moving forward. We're listening for 15 or potential tropical cyclone 15 to become Lisa, and that should be happening really within the next 24 hours. Again, this information coming out on Sunday, October the 30th, and we'll late in the afternoon, and we'll see how this develops as we move on in to Halloween happening for tomorrow. Hope you're following me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I'm at John Dawson, Fox 26. That's going to be the best way to communicate back and forth. I check the comments occasionally when I can here on YouTube, but it's not something that I could just be checking on a daily basis like I do with these. So if you have something you want to say to me, that would be the great way to do it. We can connect and sort of talk about what's happening in the tropics. We'll be back here again tomorrow on Halloween with another update.